What's up, guys? So I got my Osprey 300 VU33P in today. It's pretty neat, quite loud. I did not go with the Noctua fan, which I knew would be quieter because I'm moving to a new site, and things here I can kind of deal with the noise. So there she is, hashing away. Right now it's on Alephium, overclocked a little bit, and it's pulling 447 watts. I wanted to test out each different algorithm. On the site, they have listed Kylocoin, Radiant, and Alephium. And it definitely does IRONFISH as well. So the way you log in is root. Usually it's root, or root 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this case, it's root password. Which I figured out by watching one of Retro Mike's videos, so thank you for that, Retro Mike. And then you can log in here. If I'm able to figure this out, you guys should definitely have no problem with this. So this is like the landing page in the UI. Pretty simple, not too much to figure out. When you're overclocking, you're gonna want to line up the voltage here with what they have listed on the site. At least that's what I've been doing for this first little round of testing. This is my first FPGA ever, so I'm being very careful not to break anything. I have to say, Osprey's support so far has been fantastic, so shout out to them.
Alright guys, so let's hop on over in the computer so I can show you what this looks like over here. This is the landing page. Basically to log in, just like any other ASIC. You find the IP associated with. I just logged in my router and looked for the new IP address and typed it in from there. It's root and then password to get into the UI. Really is a lot like navigating the ASIC UI. So this is where you edit your voltage. This main landing page here, and it shows you it takes about like 20 seconds for it to kick in when you do it. The fan curve is here. This is like the stock fan curve that was already in there, so I left that in there for now. All of the algorithm switching happens in this minor configuration area. So this is where you'll put your pool, obviously, wallet, worker ID, and then the core clock. Anytime you're going to adjust this, you want to stop your miner. So I'm actually going to stop it right now and show you me going and applying the maximum hash rate settings for IRONFISH. So you're gonna first adjust the V-synced MV, which is the voltage. I'm actually going off of the website. List, the algorithms that they have. To test all this, it's been working out pretty good so far. So here is IRONFISH, actually. So the maximum hash rate is this 112 gigahash, which I actually get exactly 112. The core clock, you're going to want to set to 830. And here's the V-synced. And the total wattage they have listed is 355. So what I do is come in here and set this voltage in accordance with what they have listed on the site, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and do 900. This V-synced here, which is the max, and then since this is just about the max here, I'm going to just do the max amount on this VCC HBM and apply this voltage change. So this will take about 20 seconds, and it'll show up here in this mining board status area. You can refresh, and you'll see it there. Then come on over into the miner config. I actually need to switch this to IRONFISH. Give me 1 second. And now I'm going to set my core clock. 830, I have already set the watts. And let's go ahead. Oh, yeah, obviously you got to switch the algorithm. They have a couple different, so I've tested out for you guys Alephium, IRONFISH, and Radiant. So here we go. We're going to do the maximum hash rate on IRONFISH. When you do IRONFISH, you actually have to set each individual FPGA. That hasn't happened to me for Alephium and Radiant. I haven't tried out Kylocoin, Cas Etica, or I guess ETC hash Etica would be the same, unless that's ETASH. So let's set the three of these at 830, 830, and 830. And then from there you start. Please waiting a moment. That's about how long it takes each time. This is going to have a 10% Team Red Miner. It comes with this 10% dev fee. And then I pop on over into the miner logs. And if you guys have AMD cards, you're probably familiar with Team Red Miner. And this will take a bit. Bitstream load's a little different in each one. This is what it looks like for Team Red Miner. There we go. So they have advertised 112 gigahash at 355 watts. Here's the core. Good. Looks like no rejects. Oh, sorry, rejected shares. Still ramping up. Here's the, you can see the fan speed going up. It gets pretty loud. I went with the stock fan. It's alright. I might try the Noctua. I can deal with the stock fan. But it is pretty loud. Here we go. It gets exactly 112 gigahash, sorry.
This is going to be an IRONFISH on maximum core clock. Not necessarily the most efficient, probably the least efficient. And we're getting 112 gigahash at 371 watts. Alright guys, so here is the maximum efficiency. We're getting 67.44 gigahash on IRONFISH, doing 111 watts. It ramps up to 114 watts when the fan level gets to 10, but it spends most of its time around this 111, 112 watts. So far, not bad. In hindsight, I think I might have done the Noctua. This thing roars. It's like an airplane. Alright, let's move on to Radiant.
Alright guys, I wanted to jump back over into the computer here and look at some of these hash rates and power draws in comparison with what they're advertising on the website for IRONFISH. And so this maximum wattage and maximum most aggressive on the core here, everything is lining up pretty well. In accordance with what they're advertising on the site. I do have to say I'm very, very satisfied. Osprey is pretty awesome. They've been really great at communicating, and the device itself, I don't know if I won or lost Silicon Lottery, but yeah, it's pretty good so far. Everything pretty much lines up. So there's a little bit of discrepancy. Like for example, this most aggressive setting on IRONFISH it's pulling 370 watts. It's getting that 112 gigahash. On the site, they're listing 355 watts, but I think this really is just a matter of me kind of dialing in the VSync, I guess, and the VCC HBM. I notice I only get rejected shares or hardware errors if I just haven't adjusted the voltage properly, I guess like in accordance with the core. So I think the device is great, and I think they rock. I just need to tune better. But yeah, everything like really lines up well with what they advertised on their site. So very happy with everything so far. So I've tested out kind of the most aggressive setting, the lowest, and what would be the most efficient. This is me doing just wattage, hash rate per watt. So this is gigahash per watt here for efficiency. And as you can see, the lowest setting on the core, basically, with the lowest wattage draw, tends to be the most efficient, which is basically exactly what they have on their site for each one. So that bared out. That was pretty cool. Doing the 500 on the core here, I ended up getting 109. This one was like me doing exactly, you know, lowest on this VCCINT. Also the VCCHBM. I did 1,000 there. I did 600 here and 500 on the core. And this is what I got. And it pretty good. Highest efficiency is basically the lowest clock. Show you how to switch to Radiant. So first order of business is to come on over into the miner config and stop miner. From there, you want to then edit your voltage. I'm going to test out first the maximum clock and hash rate and power draw settings for Radiant. And so what you'll do is put in this VCCINT, which they have as 870 here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Because that's nearly the highest setting on this VSync, I'm going to do nearly the highest on this VCCHBM setting for the voltage as well. So let's go with 1250, we'll call it. Now. Okay. Okay, looks like that took. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and put 650 on the core. That happens in this miner config. First, we're going to switch, though, to Radiant. Our Radiant address. Okay. I'm going to mine the paper. I got my Radiant address. I've switched. Radiant is this Whitefire dev. It says 15% dev fee. And I want to have 650 on the core. Once I have that set, fire it up. Okay, here goes the bit stream for Radiant. This is on the maximum, most aggressive setting here. It always takes a bit, so it'll throw like a pretty high hash rate the first time it gets going, and then bounces around quite a bit. It takes a little while to settle out. Doesn't look like we're having any hardware errors with these settings. This VCCINT at 870, the clock at 650. See here. So it's looking pretty good. This I think will settle down. Yeah, Radiant I noticed did a bit better on this device than what they had listed on the site. But the wattage tends to stay pretty consistent and only kind of go up and down based on the fan curve and the fan speeding up and slowing down using more or less power. But the wattage stays pretty static. Other than that, the hash rate on Radiant tends to jump a bit, take a while to settle out, and even when it does seem to settle after hashing for a while, it still jumps around a little bit. But I'll leave the link to the spreadsheet to check out if you guys are interested. I've done an aggressive, medium, and low setting for IRONFISH, Radiant, and Alephium as well. And then recorded power draws. So hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, it's looking like it's settling out above 6 this time. Earlier I was getting on this most aggressive setting around 5.65, so we'll see if it kind of comes back down. It does take a bit. Again here, across all these, it's, lowest power draw, lowest clock is generally your most efficient in every scenario for each coin and algo. Pretty impressive though.
Alright, so we're here in maximum hash and power draw on Radiant. Highest clock. It looks like we're getting about 356 watts being pulled the wall here. And it's doing a little better than the advertised hash on the website. It bounces around a bit more, but it doesn't seem to dip below 5.5, and it's not really going above 6, so not too bad. Looking like 5.6 at 356 watts. Here's middle of the road on Radiant. It's looking like we're settling around 4.6 or so at 210 watts on the medium clock. Looks like we're doing about 3.7 on the maximum efficiency. That's 400 megahertz on the clock. 117 watts. Not bad, not bad.
It's on over to Alephium now. So we're going to come over in here to the config and stop. And we're going to need our Alephium pool address and wallet. I like Hero miners, using them for a bit, pretty consistent. Alephium address, we're going to drop that in here. Alright, cool. I did that backwards. Actually, you're going to want to, first you want to adjust your voltage. So, we're going to go ahead and do the max. Max clock, we'll do 950 on the core, which means we'll need 900 on this VCC INT, and I'm going to go 1300 on the VCC HBM. We're going to apply those. They should show up here. So this takes 20 seconds. It seems to basically show up right away. Then back in the miner config, should be stopped. Yeah, and we're going to need we're going to switch this to Alephium and get our address in and pool URL. Oops. There we go. And we're going to do, let's call it 950 megahertz in the core. Okay, here we go. I noticed that Alephium doesn't really seem to get the advertised. I mean, I guess it is advertised if we got a plus or minus 6%. Definitely within plus or minus 6%. I think I end up getting around, 10 gigahash here for 536 watts. So Bitstream should be running now. This one we're going to be doing, it's the same guy, same dev as Radiant. So Bitstream will look exactly the same there. Cool.
Looks like we're getting just under 10 gigahash here on Alephium, doing 536 watts with the maximum core here. Middle of the road clocks about 8 gigahash again on Alephium for 264.5 watts. Alright guys, here's what should be our maximum efficiency, lowest power draw settings. We're getting about 7 gigahash on Alephium, doing 158 watts. Not bad.
Alright, so let's check out profitability real quick on one of these things. I think FPGA is a really interesting purchase. It's not as efficient as an ASIC, but it's more efficient than a GPU. It's not as versatile as a GPU. It can't do as many different coins as a GPU, but it can do the coins that it does way more efficiently than a GPU, just not as efficient as an ASIC. So it's really interesting. It's got a tight window of use, but I think they're really cool devices. So grabbing one of these, you're looking at 3,200 for the stock fan. Well, 3,300. I think it's an extra 150 bucks. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's like just about an extra 50 bucks for this Noctua fan. And then there's taxes or shipping, I think, for another $110 or so. So let's just call this $33.50 for now. So if we're doing 112 gigahash at 370 watts, we're looking at almost $4 a day. It's not horrible. So let's say 3.98 profit times 3 days. So 120 bucks, almost $119.40 per month. Not bad. And let's say we spent 33.50 divided by that 119.4. Looking at a 28-month ROI. Not the end of the world. I think it's a really cool device to have in your arsenal. If you're a GPU miner or ASIC miner, what have you. They're pretty interesting devices. Let's just check the more efficient profitability here. So 112 watts, 67.44 gigahash for 112 watts. So we got 67.44, 112 watts. Check that out real quick. So we're doing $2.56. Not bad. Yeah, I think it's a good buy. I think it's a really interesting device.